Right, so we're going to do another rig. Now what we're doing on this one is a D-rig, but with my D-rigs I've gone a little bit different. So instead of messing about with a snail knot, because some people do know how to do the snail knot, some people don't know how to do the snail knot. Now what I found with a snail knot, sometimes where the tag end comes out, sometimes you just can't get it snipped all the way down. So your ring will get caught, or your swivel, whatever you're using, will get caught actually on your knot. This way it doesn't. And it's much more simpler and easy to tie up, and it's more adjustable, so if you do want to slide it up and down a little bit better, then you can do. Yeah, so this is what we're tying up now, just to give you an idea of the actual rig itself. Even though there's no bait on, as you can see, it sets, and it sets very, very quickly. Yeah, there's no faff with this rig. I'm not pulling down, I'm pulling sideways. Yeah, if I'm pulling down, I'll be down here. So that is that. Right, so this is what we're going to show you how to tie up my way. Okay, yes, I do know how to tie the snail knot. I've got some snail knots done, but like I say, I don't like them. Right, so these are the components what we're going to be using on this video here. So ignore brands, brands are brand. Just pick out what you like. To be fair, they're all virtually the same. They all come pretty much from the same place, just with different brands on them. So what we're going to do then, we're actually going to get some of these out of the packet. So there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four. Okay, in here I've got some hook beads and rings as well, so just go shift those out of the way. Right, so just depending on how long you want your rig, take some fluorocarbon off. It doesn't have to be this, but this is the one what I use, and this is why I prefer to use the hook bead more than the snail knot, because I find this very, very slippy line. So when you tie the snail knot, it slides up and down on the shank just too easily. Right, so all we're going to do then, we're going to get a fluorocarbon, we're going to pull out a little hook bead, we're going to push that on there first, so fat end first. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to get a shank of a hook, and we're going to go on with the narrow part onto the point. Just try and get that into there. Now me trying to see this underneath the phone is blooming awkward, because it is such a small hole. There we are, we're going in. So just give that a little tease on that with your nail. I do have to be careful with these hooks because they are mega sharp. Right, so that's going on. Right, now to actually fix this line actually into, you can see how tight it is. It's an absolute bugger to move into position, and this is what you want. Right, now to fix the actual fluorocarbon, to stop it actually from coming out of the bead, very easy. Just give it a tiniest little blob, like so. Pull that down. That meets the top of the actual hook bead. Now all you got to do is just get yourself a ring or a swivel, whatever you prefer to use. Rings on. Why do I prefer to use rings over swivels? Because I want to keep the weight down. That's the reason why. Now if I'm using a bottom bait rig, I'm not bothered. I'll put the swivel on. So I'm going to go through the back of the shank. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to literally just define my D, how big I want it. Twist it into place. So we'll say roughly about there. Okay, because it will shrink down a touch in a moment. So I'm just going to make sure which way my join of the hook is, and I'm going to bring it down a few turns. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Through the back of the eye again. Just a normal knotless knot here. Just keep hold of those wraps. Just pull it up a little bit, wet your knot, and then give it a little pull. Just to pull all those wraps neatly together. Yeah, and if it needs a little bit more, just give it a little tiny aid, because I've not gone full on tight anyway. I'll do that in a moment. So what I'm going to do now, shrink tube on that. Don't need to position it yet. My little sinker as well. Let me just have an itch. Just lace this on. There we are. So that's going in. So we'll just nick that on. No, it does. They don't really need sinkers because fluorocarbon is sinking anyway. But I just want to give it a little bit of weight, bit more weight. So all I'm going to do now, all this fluoro here, I'm just going to moisten. Just from my saliva, and then I'm actually going to pull my sinker down onto it. And then from there, I'm going to pull that down to roughly whereabouts I want it. Now I can put my shrink tube on. It is only going over the eye. It's not going over all the actual wraps itself. It is just over the eye. Now you can't burn this with a lighter. This will require steaming. If you do this with a lighter, you're going to weaken all your fluorocarbon and then it's shot and you'll have to start all over again. So now all this part is done down here. It's got the components going on. We can actually twist this actually into line how we want this D to actually sit. Bit too much there. And there we are. If it's not quite straight actually going down the wraps, just get that going straight as well. Once you steam it, you're going to get it anyway. So that is how she's going to look. Okay, like I say, it's not steamed or anything. Once it's steamed down, that'll give it a better hooking potential anyway. Right, so all we're going to do now then is get our anti-tangle sleeve, or whether it's tungsten or not. In this case it is. Lace that on there as well. And then what we're going to do, we're going to figure out the length, what we want. I can't type where this kink is. So we are going to be roughly, say that. And I'm going to do a figure of 8 loop knot. So twist it over. And then this is where you need, or I need a tool. So let's see if I can knock it. Now, I normally use a baiting needle, but we'll try and get it through without the baiting needle. Like that. I'm going to put my pen in there, that's the reason for the pen. Because I don't want to put a knot puller into it. I'm going to moisten that knot. Knot puller onto the hook itself. Make sure it's not on the D. Pull it tight and also give it a bit of a stretch out as well. And I'll show you the reason for the pen. With the pen, you form a lovely loop. If you do it with a knot puller, so if you do this with this, all you're going to do, you're going to put a kink actually up here, and we don't want a kink. This is how we want it. So we're just going to make sure this knot is seized down tight. Little moisten, pen in there again. Make sure I'm away from it. I'll just give the little tag end a tiniest little pull with my teeth as well. Trim it off. Leave yourself an access, as you can see, just in case the knot is going to slip a tiny bit, because the figure of 8 loop knot generally will a touch anyway for the first couple of uses. Put the tag end into the anti-tangle, bring the knot down, neaten it up so it's like so. Steam this. You can steam the fluorocarbon, but as you can see, it's sitting pretty straight on its own anyway. And that's how I would like to do it. So what we've got here, we've got like a couple of rigs here. We've got the D rig, and we've also generating a claw rig because of the shrink tube. So it's actually aiding a little bit more. I will never now use the kickers. I just don't like them. They're way too flexible. So as I steam that, it is going to be literally in this position. So I'm going to steam it straight. So when my line's on it, it's going to be sitting here. So my actual shrink tube is kicking out further than the point, and that will actually aid in the twist of the hook going in, like you can see. And that's how I do them. Now the good thing is with this, because it's on a ring, I can have it single bait, bottom bait, half bait, whatever bait I want to have it on it. And that's the reason why I like to use a longer piece of shrink tube. Straight in. If it was a shorter piece or no shrink tube, sometimes your hook just slides straight over, but as you can see, not with this. It's in. It's try and get it unhooked. It's going in every time. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you wish to, and many more videos will come for the future. See you later.